Censored beeps in this video are classified names or locations that are withheld from public hearing and are therefore edited for legal reasons from the SCP agency. In association with the SCP website, Secure, Contain, Protect.
This video contains flashing lights, disturbing content, jump scares and strong language. Viewer discretion advised.
The SCP Foundation is a secret organization of scientists who are devoted to collecting and containing all of the supernatural objects and creatures in the world for the sake of protecting the rest of mankind from them. SCP stands for Special Containment Procedures, and their unofficial motto, Secure, Contain, Protect.
Items contained by SCP are classified as one of the following: safe, items which can be reliably and safely contained and can be handled safely in the proper procedures; Euclid, unpredictable and harder to contain than saved objects; and Keter, they require extensive and precise containment procedures. Most Keter items also pose an enormous threat to humanity.
The Foundation often uses D-Class personnel to handle and experiment extremely hazardous objects and anomalies. These people tend to be prison inmates convicted of violent crimes, especially those on death row. In times of duress, the Foundation will even use political prisoners, refugee populations, and ordinary civilians as alternative sources of D-Class personnel. In this case, the category we are documenting is the top 20 Little Misters SCPs by Dr. Wondertainment.
SCP-905. Object Class: Safe. SCP-905 is a sentient entity composed of photons. These photons form a humanoid shape that has been described as fuzzy but definite. It's roughly 1.75 meters tall. However, its mass is immeasurable. SCP-905 has shown the ability to speak through the manipulation of air particles, but its mechanism to perform this is unknown. SCP-905 is capable of the same movement as the human male of the same body structure, but due to its photonic nature, it is unable to manipulate solid objects aside from emitting weak electromagnetic radiation. Solids such as doors must be moved for SCP-905 before it can leave or enter a room. SCP-905 has the ability to pass through windows and other transparent objects. The photons it's composed of follow the usual laws of probability in this case, and will reflect back from the transparent object at a rate of 5%, separating any reflected photon from its influence. SCP-905 sheds its photons at a constant rate of approximately 0.001% of its body volume per second. These photons are emitted at a wavelength of 380 nanometers to 780 nanometers, or within the human spectrum of visible light. Its lack of a shadow can make detecting it while hidden problematic. SCP-905 shows an inability to absorb colored lights. Due to its constant loss of photons, it must be fed regularly in order to maintain a healthy body volume. Controversially, feeding SCP-905 too large of an amount of photons causes it to experience an oversaturation. It finds this extremely painful and describes it in a similar manner to human burns. The words Mr. Chameleon from Little Misters are printed upon SCP-905's left calf. SCP-905 is contained in a 6 meter by 6 meter by 3 meter containment cell, painted matte black. This cell is devoid of any mirrors or windows. Every 4 hours, SCP-905 is fed for 20 minutes. As of current regulations on Misters, SCP-905 is to be contained in Hall of Sight. SCP-905 was discovered at the entrance of Site.
SCP-2287. Object Class: Safe. SCP-2287 is a headless humanoid white male who manifests multiple anomalous properties. Primary among these is that it is able to function as a living being despite lacking a head. The words Mr. Headless from Little Misters by Dr. Wondertainment are tattooed on the lower side of SCP-2287's back. Its exposed neck stump is covered with live skin. Radiographic examination has shown that the neck stump has only the bottom 4 cervical vertebrae, but there are no signs of spinal damage. The head-based functions which SCP-2287 is able to emulate include thought, hearing, and smell. As well, it claims to be blind. It does not eat or breathe, and has claimed that its energy source may be some kind of amplified photosynthesis. Direct visual observation of SCP-2287's headlessness is not possible. Individuals who attempt to observe this will, instead, perceive headless versions of themselves as seen from SCP-2287's perspective. Such individuals describe feeling disconnected from themselves, but are still able to control the movement of their own bodies, albeit with difficulty. This effect does not occur when SCP-2287 is viewed through any means other than the unaided human eye. SCP-2287's headlessness can be observed via live video transmission, in photographic prints, in mirrors, and through windows or lenses. No individuals who have undergone cataract surgery have yet been available for testing. Despite this, it is capable of performing tasks which would require a head, such as wearing items of headgear, including masks, hats, scarves, headphones, nose plugs, and earplugs. SCP-2287 is contained in Hall of Site. Except for during authorized testing, its mask is to not be removed. SCP-2287 does not require food, but is provided with incense upon its request, contingent on good behavior. Literature provided to SCP-2287 is converted into Braille. SCP-2287 was discovered in Wisconsin on November 24, 2010, after a significant number of reports from citizens appeared describing the anomalous effects of SCP-2287. Witnesses were given amnestic treatment, and SCP-2287 was contained without issue.
Good evening, SCP-2287.
Hey, Dr. Howard. What's up? More hearing experiments?
No, actually tonight this is more of an interview. For instance, we were wondering what you could tell us about Dr. Wondertainment.
Okay. I'll tell you what I can, but I never actually saw her. You know, what with the whole blind thing.
But you did interact with her.
With who? Oh, Dr. Wondertainment? Yeah. Heck of a nice guy, most of the time, I think. He had some pretty crazy ideas. Like what he had in mind for me. See...
Wait. First you said her, then you said he.
What?
First you referred to Dr. Wondertainment as a woman, then as a man.
I don't understand what you mean. Like, Dr. Wondertainment as an actual person? What are you talking about? You're confusing me.
But you just said... no, I'm sorry. I must have misheard, my bad.
Well, okay. For a minute there, you were making zero sense at all. And they call me Headless.
Well, when you work for the Foundation for long enough, you discover many situations that don't entirely make sense. You did say, though, that Wondertainment had intended something specific for you?
Oh, yeah, right. Well, basically, you know how during the holidays, there's special holiday-themed products?
Yes.
Well, basically, I'm a Halloween special. You follow?
That's it.
Well, yeah. The way I heard it, they were originally gonna do Sweetie for Halloween, but I don't know. Some corporate garbage, executives sabotaging each other. You know how it goes. So, I'm the backup plan. Sit me on the porch, I play dead, and then when the kids come by, woo! I sit up, wave my arms at them, show them my stump. Look, everyone, a headless monster. Lurch around, the whole deal. Dr. Wondertainment's Mr. Headless. Spooky Halloween fun for the whole family.
I see. And are you fun for the whole family, I mean?
I guess so. For the most part, I mean, yeah, people enjoyed me, which is great, don't get me wrong, but I never really got it myself, you know? I sit there, I get up, I stand around, I wave my arms, and that's pretty much it. But people would be scared, and they'd have fun, and that's enough for me. Or it was, anyway, till you people got a hold of me. Could be worse, I suppose.
Where we found you, back in Wisconsin, could you tell us what you were doing there?
Where you found me? Well, I spent a few years there with this family. They mostly kept me in the attic, it was quiet. I remember sometimes I could hear noises from downstairs if they were being loud enough, but usually it was quiet. They'd bring me down for Halloween, and then put me back up afterward. And then, one Halloween, they didn't come get me, so I didn't come down that year. They didn't come get me the year after either, or the year after that, and that's when I started to get worried. So, I went downstairs, and I couldn't find anybody. I felt around everywhere, but all the furniture and stuff was gone too. Maybe they just moved and forgot me.
And that's what led to you wandering the city streets?
Yeah. I waited around for a few weeks, and then some people opened the door to the front porch, where the candy bowl usually is, and they came in. I didn't recognize their voices, and an audience is an audience, right? So I went back downstairs from the attic, and they kind of freaked out. I mean, I'm used to hearing people scream, but not like that. One of them had, what's it called? A metal thing. You hold it in your hand and it makes a sort of pop noise, and then people get hurt.
A gun?
Yeah. One of them had a gun, which I only found out when I walked up to her and tried to feel her face, which I admit wasn't the best idea, but I was kinda lonely. And I thought maybe she might be one of the people from the family, you know? But it wasn't. And there was all the screaming and the gun noises, and this was the bad screaming, not the fun kind at all. And one of them was lying on the floor and smelling weird. That means they was dead, right? But they left the front door open, so I decided that this was a good time as any to go outside. So when I'm walking in the streets and there's cars all around me and they're honking all each other, making all these crashing noises with glass breaking, and there are a lot of people screaming, and again, this is the bad screaming, but then I remembered there's usually a park close to the house, and I hoped that if I went there with bushes and stuff I could hide in, I could at least stay out of trouble.
Tell me, why didn't you go back into the house, into the attic?
Well, this bit's kind of embarrassing. I kind of, when I was out in the street, got turned around a bit. I lost my bearings. I'm not used to being out in places that are bigger than just a house and a yard. I was starting to panic too, so I just went for the place that sounded like there weren't any buildings.
I see. And why didn't you try to leave sooner?
Well, the front door wasn't open before that.
What did you think about?
Just things, you know? Things in general. The world, what it might be like, what it's like being me. Nothing specific, I guess.
But for 3 years?
Well, yeah. Why?
SCP-1799. Object Class: Safe. SCP-1799 is a male humanoid, approximately 1.2 meters tall, weighing 58 kilograms. SCP-1799 has the physical characteristics of a generic clown. Subject is bald, skin devoid of pigmentation, has a circular red nose and elongated feet. The subject's facial pigmentation has the appearance of makeup commonly worn by circus performers. The words Mr. Laugh from Little Misters by Dr. Wondertainment are tattooed upon SCP-1799's lower back. Anything that SCP-1799 says to a person will be interpreted by that person as a joke. The longer the subject speaks to the person, the funnier the jokes will become, until the subject is overcome by laughter. Due to this fact, it is extremely difficult to communicate with SCP-1799. The only known way to communicate with the subject is through written word, as this does not activate the effect. In addition, SCP-1799 is able to perform several anomalous actions. SCP-1799 has no control over these abilities, and they appear to be involuntary, painful, and random. They are usually similar to actions that would be performed by circus performers who were using props, including removal and reattachment of limbs, squirting water out of a flower attached to its chest cavity, pulling a string of coloured cloth out of its mouth with the longest string measuring 45.2 meters, and extruding coloured smoke from several orifices. During an experiment, SCP-1799 began yelling at D-Class 9023. The subject began laughing incessantly and, in his distracted state, tripped and suffered a severe head injury, which proved to be fatal. SCP-1799 became noticeably withdrawn and sullen following the event, leading to its first suicide attempt. As of recently, SCP-1799 has been put on suicide watch. SCP-1799 is contained in a soundproofed humanoid containment cell with the other Misters in Hall of Sight. Personnel entering SCP-1799's cell are fitted with a voice-cancelling helmet to prevent communication with the subject. Any personnel entering or leaving SCP-1799's cell are thoroughly searched for any potential weapon, and SCP-1799's cell is thoroughly inspected once every 24 hours to check for contraband.
Please state your name.
Sure. They call me Mr. Laugh.
Seriously? That's hilarious.
It isn't that funny.
Oh man, you're a riot.
Please, stop laughing at me. It hurts.
SCP-909. Object Class: Euclid. SCP-909 appears to be a young adult Caucasian male suffering from permanent anterograde amnesia. SCP-909 seems to be aware of his condition but cannot recall experiences past this, aside from memories gained due to its effects. SCP-909's anomalous effects become apparent when it writes down any of the experiences still in its working memory. When described through writing, experiences immediately enter its long-term memory. However, the experience disappears from the memory of all other persons involved. SCP-909 is allergic to peanuts, and will go into anaphylactic shock following the ingestion of any peanut products. The words Mr. Forgetful from Little Misters are tattooed on SCP-909's right calf. Upon discovery, SCP-909 had been wearing a three-piece suit with the brand name Doctor's Orders sewn into the tag. Foundation personnel have yet to find a clothing company operating under this name. It was discovered at entrance of site. SCP-909 is contained in a standard humanoid containment cell. No writing materials are allowed inside the cell. A short summary of SCP-909's current situation is pasted on the wall beside the bed. SCP-909 is fed 3 times daily with any peanut-free meal. If SCP-909 is seen attempting to write or draw, he is incapacitated through non-lethal means. Currently, experimentation with SCP-909's effects have been discontinued due to risk of containment breach. Research may be conducted if the current site director's approval is given. As of current regulations on Misters, SCP-909 is to be contained in Hall of Sight.
Good morning, 909.
909? Why are you calling me that? And where am I anyways?
You are the SCP-designated 909, and you are currently under my custody. I am a doctor of the Foundation, and I am going to research your anomalous effects.
The Foundation? What's that? Why do...
Hello, 909.
909? Why are you calling me that? And where am I anyways?
You are the SCP designated 909 and you are currently under my custody. I am a doctor of the Foundation and I am going to research your anomalous effects.
The Foundation? What's that?
Okay, let's try something else. Write down what I just told you.
Alright.
Hey, who are you?
I'm the SCP under your custody. Don't you remember?
Huh?
Don't you remember?
No, where am I? What is this place?
SCP-1831. Object Class Keter. SCP-1831 is a sentient 10-dimensional construct of indeterminate physicality. SCP-1831 appears as 3-dimensional projections of its original 10-dimensional appearance, usually in the form of a sphere. SCP-1831 claims to be Mr. Shapey from Little Misters by Dr. Wondertainment. The material SCP-1831 is constructed of has not conclusively been determined. Projections are usually a polyester-cotton rayon blend, but other variations have been observed. It's unknown if portions of SCP-1831 are constructed of these materials, if it's creating different blends of these materials via different slices of its actual form, or if it's using some unknown method to change its material composition. Non-fabric compositions have not been observed. SCP-1831 communicates via manipulations of its 3-dimensional projection in order to produce either symbolic representation or acoustic vibrations that resolve into speech. It appears to be cognizant of all pan-human languages. SCP-1831 is friendly towards personnel and will often try to interact with them. This interaction is universally non-lethal. However, personnel interacted with in this manner report different reactions to this, ranging from feelings of enjoyment to feelings of mild anxiety. These feelings appear to be dictated by individual psychological makeup and predisposition towards intimate contact. While SCP-1831 was presumably constructed with a standard Little Mister collection list, it has not been located, and is presumed to be similarly extra-dimensional. It has claimed ignorance of any Little Mister collection list in its possession. SCP-1831 has refused to be housed in the same facility as the other collected Misters, citing personal grievances with several other instances, as well as a willingness to be differentiated from them. Given its amenability to containment and the overall low risk of containment breach, this request has been approved. SCP-1831 cannot currently be contained. Its 3-dimensional projection is contained in a standard Site-19 containment chamber, and is provided with a permanent D-Class instance for entertainment. Selection of D-Class who enjoy interactions with SCP-1831 is advisable. SCP-1831 was first discovered when it materialized into a temporary holding cell in Site-19 and requested containment. SCP-1831's motivations behind this have not been determined. It has been consistently vague in interviews, refusing to expand on its pre-containment history. The reasons for this are currently unknown.
SCP-1908. Object Class Euclid. SCP-1908 is a male humanoid approximately 1.5 meters tall, weighing 58 kilograms. The epidermal tissue belonging to SCP-1908 is constantly producing a slick mixture of water and soap. Its eyes have been coated in plastic resin which blocks this liquid without limiting its eyesight. A tattoo reading Mr. Soap from Little Misters has been made on the bottom left of its foot. As SCP-1908 stays in one area, the soap on its body will spread, causing any surface it contacts to become slippery. This can be removed by normal means, but will be perpetually generated as long as it's in the same area. If SCP-1908 comes into contact with any liquid matter, the matter will immediately take on the properties of water and soap. The liquid may then produce large soap bubbles, capable of floating into the air while carrying a human subject within. Bubbles will not travel more than 2 meters into the air, and will pop if forced to go beyond this altitude. SCP-1908 was recovered from the industrial complex in People's Republic of China. The owners of the complex have been using the fluids produced by SCP-1908 as industrial cleaners and has affixed it to their factory equipment. Agents were able to recover SCP-1908 without incident, distributing Class D anesthetics to all witnesses. As of September 18th, SCP-1908 has been contained and classified as Euclid. SCP-1908 is held within a standard humanoid containment chamber, with the other misters in Hall of Sight. The walls in this chamber are constructed of non-porous material, with a vacuum apparatus affixed to SCP-1908's mouth to prevent it from suffocating due to its effect. Personnel entering the chamber containing SCP-1908 wear hazmat diving suits while they remain in there for maintenance, study, and interview purposes.
Good afternoon, SCP-1908. I'm going to be interviewing you today.
All right.
Now, can you identify yourself?
I'm Mr. Soap from Little Misters by Dr. Wondertainment.
Can you provide any information about your origin?
I'm not really sure. The first things I can remember aren't real. And the second thing I remember is being on the streets of Merlin. Now, I wasn't exactly peachy to be a guy like me in a place like that, so I considered myself pretty lucky to be taken in by Gerald.
And who was Gerald?
He owned one of the factories. Said he took me in, and out of his generosity, or some weird thing like that. They were really nice, the factory people. They took care of me and kept outsiders away from me. I really thought they were my friends. I really did. Then they started asking me for favors. I thought it might be a good way to repay them.
What did he ask you to do?
They put me in the machines to clean them. It wasn't safe, but I thought it would be okay. Just helping friends, right? But it wasn't okay. When I asked to be let off, they didn't.
Please, continue.
They used me. I was a dumb little toy to them. Just for cleaning their machines. I didn't have any friends.
Calm down. You're among friends here.
Yeah. That's what they said, too.
SCP-913. Object Class Euclid. SCP-913 appears to be an African-American male with an extremely fast metabolism. It requires the recommended daily caloric intake for a normal human every 2 hours and has an internal temperature of... SCP-913 will enter into a trance state if not fed the specified amount of calories in a 2-hour period. While affected, SCP-913 will break down and ingest any solid matter within sight. This ingestion can include normally indigestible matter such as wood, plastics, and metal, and does not distinguish between living subjects and other material. This hunger state will force SCP-913 to awaken if sleeping. It is aware of its actions while in this state and expresses extreme discomfort following the ingestion of denser materials. SCP-913 can rend objects with an estimated force of 3,000 newtons and can bite objects with an estimated force of 5,000 newtons while eating. SCP-913 is unable to display this strength outside of its trance state. The words "Mr. Hungry" from Little Misters by Dr. Wondertainment are tattooed upon SCP-913's right calf. Upon discovery, SCP-913 has been wearing a shirt and dress pants, both with the brand name Doctor's Orders sewn into the tags. SCP-913 is contained in a customized humanoid containment cell lined with 1 meter thick carbon steel. SCP-913 is provided with standard humanoid furnishings with pre-recorded entertainment materials provided on request. Access to the cell is conducted through a reinforced carbon steel door. Once every 2 hours, SCP-913 is provided with 1 nutritional supplement. The subject is provided with intravenous nutritional supplements while sleeping. Catheter is changed once every 3 months. As of current regulations on misters, SCP-913 is to be contained in Hall of Sight. SCP-629. Object Class: Safe. SCP-629 is a humanoid automaton. 1.7 meters tall and weighing 500 kilograms, SCP-629's body has been constructed out of ornate brass replications of human body parts. Its components require daily maintenance, which only it can perform. The words Mr. Brass from Little Misters by Dr. Wondertainment have been embossed into the back. SCP-629's body has been constructed in such a way that every portion of it is removable and interchangeable. These parts can be removed without causing it any damage, although it expresses minor discomfort when these parts are being removed. Additionally, the parts that have been removed from SCP-629 can be reassembled into new areas. Testing has shown that the number of ways it can be theoretically rearranged is approximately 73.4 billion different combinations. It is capable of controlling these new constructions on its body, but expresses extreme discomfort from these areas of its body. SCP-629 was recovered from a facility believed to have been controlled by the Church of the Broken God. It was recovered in a raid on the church property after reports of suspicious activity in the area were confirmed. It was located in the central antechamber as church members attempted to integrate it into several other objects. It is believed that SCP-629 was being held at this facility due to the church members believing it was a portion of their god. SCP-629 is contained in a standard humanoid containment cell. SCP-629 may only be taken apart during routine testing. Once per day, SCP-629 is provided with the materials it uses to maintain itself. As of current regulations on misters, SCP-629 is to be contained in Hall of Sight.
Can you tell us more about how the church came to acquire you?
I was walking around downtown. I never saw you. A good place to hide if it was someone like me. There'd been some rumors about me going around, and I was thinking about hiding. When one night this figure approaches me in the alley.
What did he say?
He offered to take me to his church. They would take me. At first, I was hesitant. He insists it was the reason they wanted me there.
Where did this person take you to?
It was the same church or foundation picked me up from. They apparently thought I was some part of their god. So they gave me anything I asked for. I had safety, plenty of amenities to keep me occupied. For a while, it worked out just fine.
Then what happened?
It got boring being surrounded by all these people who constantly fawn and adore you and give you anything you want. So I told them it's time for me to move on.
You said previously that they had a negative reaction.
Yes, they were angry. They locked me in my room. I could hear them moving some heavy equipment from outside. Eventually they pulled me out and took me to the big altar they had at the center of the church.
It was at this point that they attempted to integrate you into the other objects.
Yes, it was awful, to be honest. They were just jamming everything they had. I think that if you guys hadn't showed up, they might have added more to me than I could handle.
I believe that will be all. Security, if you would.
Oh, wait. Just one more thing.
Yes?
Thank you.
SCP-644. Object Class: Euclid. SCP-644 is a male humanoid of Italian descent. Visually, SCP-644 appears to be approximately 30 years old. The words Mr. Hot from Little Misters by Dr. Wondertainment are tattooed on SCP-644's left inner wrist. SCP-644 is able to accurately determine whether or not a person has children. Both biological and adopted children may be sensed by this effect. SCP-644 is aware of this fact for any person it knows of, even just by appearance or name. SCP-644 claims to be able to predict the material wishes of any child, as well as the popularity of any product intended for children. SCP-644 claims that this effect does not function for the wishes of adults, but has given predictions for at least one person over the age of 18, whom SCP-644 describes as a real trooper, with no further comment. SCP-644 was originally found by the local police in Racine, Wisconsin, where it was found sleeping in the entryway to a local elementary school, having broken a window to enter. SCP-644 claims to have done this to escape winter weather conditions. An automatic Foundation web crawler picked up a mention of SCP-644's tattoo in the files of the local police department and acquired it shortly after. Racine, Wisconsin was later found to contain several anomalous objects created by Dr. Wondertainment in the possession of several local children. SCP-644 is to be held within a standard humanoid containment chamber within Hall of Site. All staff are D-Class in Site. Known to have children are to be briefed of SCP-644's anomalous effects. Staff with children may opt out of testing with SCP-644 at any time.
What's up with these guys?
Please state your name for our records.
I'm Mr. Hot, marketing consultant for Dr. Wondertainment Incorporated LLC. The tattoo, see? That was my idea. Because I keep my finger on the pulse of the market, eh?
You had a say in where your tattoo went?
Yeah, me and the doctor. We're pretty close. I think I went to college with him.
Where was that?
Oh, I don't know. Does anyone really remember that stuff? So, how are you?
I'm doing fine. Could you tell me about your relationship with Wondertainment?
Fine. I mean, I'm sure you're missing the kids, right? They're with your husband.
What do you know about my children?
I know that they miss you. They don't, they don't even know what you do. This certainly isn't a university, right? Unless they've got some relaxed testing protocols. It's been, 2 weeks since you saw them?
Go on.
See, what I am thinking is, you need to let them know that they're loved. I mean, Jason, last semester, he got an A- in math, and that just went unrewarded. Oh, that's a gold, Doctor.
You're right. What should I do?
I think you give me the word, and I'll put some word in higher up. No guarantees, but let's see what I can do.
What exactly can you do?
Well, I can talk to my friend upstairs. I call him a Mr. Distributor. But he's not really, it's just a nickname. His name is Stephen, but I can talk to him, and if we find your kids are up to snuff, so to speak, I can get them some stuff to play with. Could even wrap it up, put from a mommy on there.
I'd like to know more. Need to know your toys are safe, of course.
Yeah, how about we talk about this a little later, whether these, eavesdroppers around.
That sounds wise.
Alright, you know where to find me. Here's my card.
SCP-2396 Object Class Euclid. Subject 2396 is a female humanoid, approximately 2.5 meters tall, and weighing 101 kilograms. It's identical to a baseline female human in appearance, with the exception of naturally occurring pink hair and irises. The words Miss Sweetie from Little Misters are tattooed along the outside of SCP-2396's left thigh. When denied sugar of any food item identified as containing sugar, SCP-2396 claims to undergo great pain, necessitating a constant supply of sugar or food items identified as such. The amount of sugar is unimportant in maintaining its anomalous effect. The consumption of sugars in any amount will cause SCP-2396's blood sugar level to reach a constant level of 400 milligrams. Due to its abnormally high blood sugar levels, the object is in a constant state of hyperglycemia, stating to suffer from constant headaches and blurred vision. Despite its consumption of food, SCP-2396 does not exhibit any excretory bodily functions or change in weight. While SCP-2396 is fueled with sugar, any male individual coming within 50 yards of her expresses a strong desire to leave and reorient their position as far from it as possible. Male-identified individuals brought in a direct contact with SCP-2396 undergo symptoms similar to a diabetic coma. The object claims that this is the way to keep nasty brothers and their friends away. SCP-2396-A instances are small objects comprised of simple sugars that resemble assorted colors of hard candy. The instances appear anywhere within a 6-kilometer radius of SCP-2396's current location, with a greater density appearing in areas known to contain human traffic. While these objects are harmless when touched or indigested by female-identified humans, male-identified humans undergo a gradual transformation to an instance of SCP-2396-B. Over a period of up to 12 hours, the individual's flesh, fluids, and bone are, through an unknown process, converted into hard candy which replicates and molds the body, causing the individual to become an instance of SCP-2396-B. SCP-2396-B instances take the form of a large humanoid constructs. Once an entity has been fully converted, it will make way toward SCP-2396 and attempt to breach its containment. SCP-2396-B entities show a strong resistance towards blunt force trauma and exhibit abnormal strength. The entities will attack any male-identified individual in their line of sight. The entities follow any commands given by any female-identified individual, and are most easily terminated with fire, whether through incinerator or flamethrower. SCP-2396 ceases production of SCP-2396-A and its effect on male-identified individuals when it has not indigested sugar for longer than 48 hours. At this time, its blood sugar level stays at a constant 10 milligrams due to the similarity between the effects of hyperglycemia and hypoglycemia as exhibited in SCP-2396. The object is unable to recognize the difference when given a similar amount of artificial sugars. SCP-2396 is housed in a standard humanoid containment cell in the low-security wing of Site-19. Daily, SCP-2396 is given a single liter of liquid sucralose it believes to be sugar. For ease of containment, all staff interacting with it identify as women in some capacity. No other precautions are necessary.
Good morning, SCP-2396.
Oh, come on, City, you don't have to be all stuffy with your best gal.
Alright, SCP-2396. Are you aware another SCP-2396-B attempted to breach your containment?
That's just boys. Always gotta be making a big stink of things when they want to get your attention. Ain't it always like that? Never a man, always a boy, always beating up their friends when they think they're getting too close.
They seem to be concentrating on taking you away from here. Are you unhappy here?
A woman ain't happy anywhere. Isn't that what they say?
Then what about the instances that resemble unicorns?
Don't you just love unicorns? All little girls love unicorns. You can eat them too when you get bored. Little girls get bored. It's good to have boys and unicorns you can eat when you're finished.
Isn't that a little reductive?
Look, Toots, I'm a girl's toy and it's a man's world. What do you want from me?
Is that why you repel men? Because you're a girl's toy?
Dr. W didn't like it when boys break their sisters' toys. Toy is damn near the worst thing in the world. And they can't break me. They can't even come near me. Well, except if they're, you know, all sweet and handsome.
Are you happy with the way things are?
Dr. W is getting my book. I always had a sweet tooth, and I always wanted to be a girl. Kind of an okay trade-off, if you ask me. Your lot ain't so bad, though. Even if the food's shit. Don't know how you mess up sugar, Sarah, but you guys make it taste like shit.
SCP-1007. Object Class: Safe. SCP-1007 appears to be a male of indeterminate ethnicity who undergoes the entire human life cycle within a 75-minute time frame. The subject ages at a rate of approximately 1 year per minute. Once 75 minutes have elapsed, the subject will invariably expire of spontaneous cessation of metabolic activity with no evident cause. It reports feeling excruciating pain during the first 16 minutes, when its bones and muscles are changing shape very rapidly. This process violates the first law of thermodynamics, as the subject does not seem to require any energy input to fuel the massive amount of cellular growth. SCP-10071 is a key that fits into a small metal keyhole inserted into the subject's back, in between its shoulder blades. X-ray scans have shown that the keyhole is an empty socket with no internal mechanism. When SCP-10071 is turned, the subject's physical age is reversed by 1 year for each turn, until it has regressed to the form of a neonate. If this is done after the subject's 75-minute lifespan has elapsed, the subject will reactivate. If the subject has been dead for long enough to have decayed, any decay will also be reversed. The words Mr. Life and Mr. Death from Little Misters by Dr. Wondertainment are tattooed on SCP-1007's right calf. The fact that its designation seemingly refers to a pair has been taken by some to mean that SCP-1007 has a counterpart that has yet to be recovered. SCP-1007 has stated that it is unaware of the existence of such a counterpart, and believes that its designation refers to the fact that it alternates between life and death. However, given that it was also unaware of the existence of several other Misters known to the Foundation, the existence of this hypothetical counterpart remains a possibility, and efforts are currently being made to determine its whereabouts. SCP-1007 was recovered by Task Force Tau-6 along with SCP, and SCP during a raid on the California mansion of a known customer of Marshall Carter and Dark Limited. It admitted that he had obtained SCP-1007 from an MCD-sponsored auction, and claimed that at the auction in question there had been at least 4 other Misters for sale, though he did not recall to whom they had been sold. When inactive, SCP-1007 is kept in a standard coffin along with SCP-1007-1. The subject may only be activated during routine testing. As of current regulations on Misters, SCP-1007 is to be contained in Hall 8 of Site 13.
SCP-527. Object Class: Euclid. SCP-527 is a male humanoid, approximately 1.67 meters in height, which is biologically non-anomalous, with the exception of its head, which is that of Puneus semifasciitis, or gold barb fish. SCP-527 displays no other anomalous qualities. The head of SCP-527 functions the same as the head of any other non-anomalous human. SCP-527 is capable of typical human speech. A tattoo reading, Mr. Fish from Little Misters, appears on the bottom left of its foot. SCP-527 is contained within a standard humanoid domicile at Site No other containment procedures are necessary. It was discovered by Foundation agents in 2002 and was moved to Site in 2004.
Thank you for your cooperation thus far, SCP-527. We're just using this interview as a way to gauge any potential anomalous behavior we might not expect.
Alright.
To begin, are you capable of breathing underwater?
No.
Are you capable of communicating with other fish or with other sea-based life forms?
No.
I see. When did you first discover your condition? Were you by any chance attacked or bitten by a fish you did not recognize, or experienced an encounter with a sea-based deity of some kind?
No.
Well, then you've been like this since birth?
Yeah.
Alright. Do you know of any other anomalous traits you might exhibit?
Sure don't. Like I told the other guy, this is all it is. You're looking at it. Lie, stripes, art, sweetie. They got all the good stuff. I'm just the guy with the fish head.
Do you have any idea why your creator might have fashioned you in this way?
Fuck if I know.
SCP-917. Object Class: Safe. SCP-917 appears to be an elderly Caucasian male. Subject's facial features appear to degenerate and regenerate in relation to the lunar cycle, completely disappearing during the new moon, and normal during the full moon. Subject's ears, eyes, nose, and mouth will disappear, but facial wrinkles remain. This degeneration and regeneration mimics the phases of the moon, beginning at the left ear and crossing the subject's face. Subject has explained the experience is painless, but leaves him blind, deaf, and mute when the related features are absent. However, it has explained that it feels extremely tired while suffering from the lunar phase. During an eclipse, this is considered safe and does not cause long-term harm to the object. The words, Mr. Moon, from Little Misters, are tattooed upon SCP-917's right calf. SCP-917 is kept in a standard humanoid containment cell. Music and literature may be available on request. One aide is assigned to SCP-917 at all times. Aides are rotated on 6-hour shifts. SCP-917 may request to be left in solitude at any time. However, this privilege is restricted to 4 hours a day. A basic Braille-based communication book has been supplied to SCP-917. Simple communications is performed through this medium, as well as agreed-upon hand signals. Personnel are not instructed to awaken SCP-917 while in new moon phase, unless absolutely required, as this may cause panic in the subject. Personnel wait until SCP-917 gives the agreed-upon signal before interaction. SCP-917 suffers from mild arthritis and is supplied with medication when feeding is possible. As of current regulations on Misters, SCP-917 is contained in Hall of Sight.
SCP Object Class SCP is reported as a
SCP-2855. Object Class: Euclid. SCP-2855 is a male humanoid of Hispanic descent. The words Mr. Money from Little Misters are tattooed on the back of SCP-2855's neck. SCP-2855 is anomalously affected by business transactions made regarding its ownership. The current owner of SCP-2855, designated SCP-2855-1, may engage in a written agreement depicting a transfer of ownership of SCP-2855 to another willing human in exchange for some amount of physical currency possessed by the purchasing party. This process will only occur if the written agreement contains signatures of both parties and specifies any amount of currency to be exchanged. No non-monetary exchanges are possible. SCP-2855 is believed to adapt to the wishes and preconceptions the purchasing party may have about its abilities, with such changes appearing when SCP-2855 reappears in the new SCP-2855-1's instance's possession. Typically, SCP-2855 will conform to any definitions or claims of its abilities provided in the written agreement that prompts its transfer. The limits to this adaptive ability are currently unclear, if they exist at all. SCP-2855 was recovered on the 21st of April 2007 from the holdings of Marshall, Carter, and Dark, in which it had been intentionally and repeatedly exchanged between certain MC&D staff in order to test the capabilities and uses of SCP-2855's adaptation abilities. SCP-2855 was acquired by an undercover Foundation agent posing as the intended recipient of SCP-2855 during one such exchange. SCP-2855 was subsequently transferred to Foundation custody. Due to the risk of SCP-2855 being captured by outside interest in the process of the exchange, no further test of SCP-2855's adaptive abilities are authorized. SCP-2855 is held within a standard humanoid containment chamber within Hall of Sight. The current SCP-2855-1 is not subjugated to any containment procedures. For security reasons, the current identity of SCP-2855-1 is restricted to personnel level 4 and above.
Hello, SCP-2855.
Hi, miss. You can call me Mr. Money.
I'm Dr. Latimer, and I'll be conducting this interview. I'd first like to ask a few questions of your accommodations. How have you found them?
It's been getting better. I have a feeling I will learn to love it.
And what is your territory? Your purpose?
My purpose is wherever I'm getting. I've never spoken with him. You know, him. But I like to think, from my point of view, he had lofty ambitions.
What kind of ambitions?
I think that part of me was born mostly from frustration. For that idea that you can lie and get everything in the world. Not to say there's anything wrong with that, with lies, I mean, but a child deserves truth, right? So the doctor makes his moves, and with me, you get what you pay for.
Some fulfillment of some capitalist dream?
Or rebellion? Satire? Is that satire?
I don't think it is. Please continue.
But I mean, I like being wanted, knowing I work. There was always some magic to the early times. When I first started out, there was always this... My first owner, she was this little girl. Her name was Annabeth.
She traded you away?
Yeah, but that's just me. It's what I'm for. The good times, where I just drift around, hiding in tree houses, meeting new people. Sometimes I looked completely different. Sometimes they couldn't even see me at all.
What ended it?
Well, adults seem to take the issues with me being around their children. A couple witnesses, and then I'm gone. And I'd never have a child for a patron again.
But you had others.
Not that many before they came. Marshall, Carter, Dark. They catch on quick, huh?
And they tested you?
You could call it that. Transferred me back and forth, trying, well, anything. Once I was two people, or I became incredibly persuasive. Or maybe I started to vomit gemstones.
To find your limits?
Something like that. But I don't know if they ever did.
Is it painful?
I think by definition it'd be painless. Absence of pain, really. Absence of anything. Just not being.
I think that will be enough for today. If anything is needed of you, I will let you know.
I trust you. I know I'm in good hands.
SCP-920. Object Class: Euclid. SCP-920 appears to be an Asian male of indeterminable age. Transportation, movement, or direction of SCP-920 to a certain destination is physically impossible. SCP-920 shows an inability to control its own movements and will instead wander about, being unable to choose a destination. Attempts at transporting SCP-920 to any destination will result in transporters becoming lost. Attempts at directing SCP-920 will result in SCP-920 becoming lost. Following SCP-920 will result in SCP-920 and the follower becoming lost. There is no determinable point at which SCP-920's effects will take place. Seemingly random events such as the malfunctioning radar systems and GPS units, earthquakes, cloud formations, and severe human negligence have all recorded to manifest when transportation of SCP-920 have been attempted. SCP-920 seems to have a slight psychic pull, causing subjects that come into contact with SCP-920 to feel compulsion to walk and talk with him. Conversing with SCP-920 is not recommended, as typically subjects will follow SCP-920 and become lost. SCP-920 does not appear to have any normal human requirements and can wander through deserts, tundras, and oceans without encountering difficulties. The words Mr. Lost from The Little Misters by Dr. Wondertainment are tattooed upon SCP-920's left calf. Currently, SCP-920's movements are being followed by satellite observation. Tracking of SCP-920 by land or air has been discontinued. Suggestions on efficient containment of SCP-920 may be submitted to Dr.
SCP-2284. Object Class: Euclid. SCP-2284 is a male humanoid of Indian descent that is almost genetically identical to SCP-2148. The words Mr. Lie from Little Misters by Dr. Wondertainment are tattooed upon SCP-2284's left bicep. The speech of SCP-2284 exhibits a cognito-hazardous effect that causes others that sense it to believe all declarations and statements made by SCP-2284 are objectively true. Direct audio recordings are subject to this effect. Questions posed by SCP-2284 exhibit no anomalous properties, nor do transcriptions of its speech. Testing has begun to test whether this property applies to things that SCP-2284 writes or types. SCP-2284 is physically incapable of making true statements. However, it is able to communicate somewhat effectively by relying on rhetorical questions and series of questions that lead others to the desired conclusions. Research is currently underway to determine a possible connection between SCP-2284 and SCP-21482. SCP-2284 is held within a standard humanoid containment chamber within Hall of Site. Only D-Class personnel are allowed to communicate with SCP-2284.
Hey, I gotta read you these questions and write how you react. They have it set up so a computer will type out everything we say. That alright?
Why wouldn't it be?
Right. So, how are you today, 2284?
Couldn't be better. How are you?
Could be better. Right, so, first thing. In 1995, there was an incident featuring SCP-2148.
What's that?
And what... one sec. Let me double check the number. Right. A blindfolded guy. Calls himself Mr. Stripes.
What happened to Stripes?
Nothing to him. More that he did something. Or the think, I guess. This black bar showed up on the cameras for a while. And then at the end, he had this photo. Later, when they looked at his Little Misters list, your name was blacked out.
Oh. Is that all? Stripes himself is alright?
So far as I know. You didn't have anything to do with that?
Absolutely not. I can't imagine what kind of sly trickster would even attempt such a feat.
Alright, let's see. Are you aware of your anomalous properties?
Anomalous properties?
Magic stuff, basically. It says you can convince anyone of anything you say.
How would they know if anyone I speak to is affected?
Read transcripts, I guess. Which is what I'm here for.
They think of everything, don't they? I don't think I'll be able to outwit these people. By that logic, any response I give to you is worthless to you?
Yeah. But the will know what's really up.
Why don't I try circumventing that little issue then? Would I be sitting here calm and collected if I didn't belong here?
Wouldn't that still just be you trying to convince me of something?
But did I actually tell you anything? Or simply ask you a question? You're still able to question this conversation.
Was that a question?
That's a good question, isn't it? Are there other questions?
Can you tell me about the other little misters?
Who do you have so far?
Stripes, obviously. 1 second. Chameleon, Lost, Brass, Moon, and Forgetful.
I'm sure Lost makes her jobs really easy. Where did you find Brass?
Let's see. Church of the Broken God.
Did they think he was part of their god? Man, they could not be further from the truth.
What about the others? You seemed concerned about Mr. Stripes earlier.
How could I not be? Don't brothers have to stick together?
Aren't all of you sort of siblings? I think I remember reading that in a briefing dossier.
Yeah, sure. Totally keen on the idea of being brothers with a corpse with a key on its back. Did you know I don't always know exactly what's going to come out of my mouth? Do I operate on some kind of universal truth rather than what I understand to be the right answer? Would you believe that I once said Stripes wasn't my brother? He isn't my brother. He's definitely not my biological sibling. So why doesn't he seem to realize that we're actually twins, truly blood related? Do you think he just sees me as one of his 19 siblings?
Didn't you just... You know what? Let's just move on. What can you tell us about Dr. Wondertainment?
His name is Isaiah Crawford. And... Wait. How did I say that? What did I just tell you now?
That his name is Isaiah Crawford.
That is his name though. The man known as Dr. Wondertainment has always been Dr. Wondertainment. Is that the game? Dr. Wondertainment was never Isaiah Crawford. Dr. Wondertainment is just the name of a company. Dr. Wondertainment is a male human. What did the old man do?
What are you talking about?
Are you familiar with Dr. Wondertainment? Do you think that name is referring to a specific person or the company?
Both. You just said that. Dr. Wondertainment is a male human named Isaiah Crawford, who is just a company that was never Isaiah Crawford.
Are you okay? Oh, what am I thinking? I'm sure you just got tired of talking, that's all. You have no reason to pass up for mental strain. Can someone help him? You're not going to die. Oh, I killed you. You're going to die because of me. Oh, you're not, are you? You have to die at some point, don't you? Probably during something like a mass termination at the end of the month, because that makes sense. Are you guys coming? Can't you see this guy needs help?
SCP-2428. Object Class: Safe. SCP-2428 is a document created by the group of interest Dr. Wondertainment, serving as proof of purchase for the Mr. Mad product of the Little Misters series. Directly viewing SCP-2428 when no other person is under its effects will cause the viewer to perceive a hallucination of a male humanoid, designated SCP-24281. SCP-24281 appears to be a male humanoid of Slavic descent, measured at 167 centimeters and an estimated 55 kilograms. It wears a multicolored straitjacket, the sleeves of which have been torn off at the elbows, and grey slacks. The words Mr. Mad from Little Misters by Dr. Wondertainment are tattooed upon SCP-2428-1's left forearm. SCP-24281 is sapient and retains information across affected subjects, though it has no perception of time between manifestations. It is also capable of perceiving and interacting with other hallucinations the subject experiences, regardless of whether they are anomalous or not. Interviews have confirmed that it can be perceived by other anomalies associated with the Little Misters series, should its host be within their vicinity. Amnestics have proved ineffective at removing the anomalous effects of SCP-2428. However, SCP-24281 is able to give the subject a hallucinatory pill of varying appearance, which terminates all SCP-2428 effects approximately 5 minutes after ingestion. Outside of testing, SCP-2428 is to remain in a secure locker within Hall of Sight. At the conclusion of any testing, the affected subject is to ingest SCP-24282.
SCP-2933. Object Class Euclid. SCP-29331 is a partially submerged steel structure within a large saltwater reservoir. The exterior and interior of SCP-29331 are very heavily rusted and otherwise decayed, with several features having disintegrated completely and structural deficiencies being widespread. It's currently believed that SCP-29331 was designed to contain SCP-2933-A. The interior of SCP-29331 is labyrinthine and inconsistent. Passages have been observed as changing, moving, or disappearing completely. The severe destabilization and corrosion of it has not appeared to hamper its primary function. Currently, it is believed that all passages within it lead to SCP-2933-A, and there is no way to return to the entrance. Any individual or machine that enters it will slowly begin to show signs of iron oxide corrosion on their exterior surface. This affliction is believed to be permanent. The corrosion spreads across the entirety of the subject before affecting the subject's inner mechanisms or organs. The speed of this phenomenon increases as the subject grows closer to SCP-2933-A. Under no circumstances are individuals permitted to enter SCP-29331. Once monthly, a small automated surveillance drone enters SCP-29331 to assess SCP-2933-A.
Please proceed into the open entryway.
It smells like oil. This isn't safe, is it?
Please proceed into the entryway.
Fine. I can hardly see for shit in here. It's dark.
There's a light on your pack if you need it.
Okay, yeah. I see it now. The walls are metal, the floors are grated, and they're also metal. Can you see this?
We can. Can you hear anything?
Yeah, really faint though. I'm not sure. Hard to pin.
Acknowledged. Please proceed.
So that thing I said I heard earlier, I think it's metal on metal. Like some kind of grinding or scraping.
Can you be more specific?
Really hard to tell. The echo in here is really bad. It's a continuous sound though, right? Maybe it's just in my head. I don't know.
I see. D13321, our communications are breaking down. I need you to return to the surface as soon as possible.
Been trying to for a while. Don't think there's a way out of here. Hallways I've walked down start to lead to dead ends. There's no stairways that go up. The only way to go is down. Damn, it's hot. I can hear grinding too. Somewhere below me. Metal on metal. That sound is getting louder too. Like what I said earlier. My skin's gone to shit also. Rust flakes are everywhere. They burn really badly. Starting to get on my face. I don't think it's metal on metal anymore. There's something else in there too. It doesn't sound right. Long passageway now. This room is huge. Can barely hear though. It's so loud. That same goddamn sound. Oh God. It's a person.
Sorry for all the commotion.
Who are you?
Me? My name is Mr. Smile. I apologize. It's just that everything hurts so much, you know. Yes, Mr. Smiles. Right here on my leg, see?
That's it. That says, and property of the fact and...
We know that's much better. Yep, Mr. Smiles. That's me.
What are you doing down here? What is this place?
My father built this for me. He told me Sorry, he told me that it would keep me safe. Or keep people safe from me. I can't really remember now. Everything just hurts. But it's okay.
What?
My father told me I'm sorry that he would come back for me once he was finished. He needed me for something, and I wanted to be the best son I could be, right?
Hang on. What do you mean he needed you for something? Needed you for what?
Yes. See, father was very sick. The rust was inside him. So he promised me that if I took the rust from him, that he would make smiles for everybody. That's what's important. That everybody was smiling.
Wait, so why did he put you down here?
After he gave me the rust, he was afraid. You know, there's something about the rust that really... It really terrifies him. He didn't even want to look at me. That's just fine, though. I understand completely.
A while. I didn't really expect everything to hurt this badly, to tell you the truth. But my father is out there making smiles right now. And he'll come back for me someday soon. And we'll be together again. Just you wait.
Uh-huh. Guess you wouldn't know what I could do about this, would you?
Oh, no, nothing you can do about that. The pain really only gets worse from there too. Once you've got the rust inside you, it just spreads and spreads until there's nothing left. Just oil and smoke and rust.
Got it. Thanks. Got any smokes, kid?
No, sir, I don't smoke. Don't want to do anything to my pearly whites. After all, I am Mr. Smiles.
Figures.
Can you feel the rust inside you?
Yeah, I sure can.
SCP-2148. Object Class: Euclid. SCP-2148 is a male humanoid of Indian descent. The words Mr. Stripes from Little Misters and Dr. Wondertainment are tattooed upon SCP-2148's right bicep. SCP-2148-1 is a white blindfold, immune to the effects of SCP-2148 with the brand name Doctor's Orders sewn into it, worn by SCP-2148 since discovery. The anomalous properties of SCP-2148 do not manifest unless it is able to visually commit something other than SCP-2148-1 or itself to memory. When it is able to dedicate a person or object to memory via visual stimuli, all current physical and digital information concerning said person or object is immediately obscured via black bars. No alterations occur to media created after the event unless SCP-2148 observes the person or object in question a second time. Class C amnestics have proven capable of reversing this process if applied within 3 hours of exposure. On the 5th of December 1995, an anomaly designated as SCP-2148-2 within site security footage was discovered, beginning with the initial recovery of SCP-2148 and lasting roughly 3 weeks. SCP-2148-2 manifests as a black bar obscuring Dr. and Site Director at intermittent intervals on all security footage. When questioned about this, both personnel cited two distinct and equally clear memories during the times of SCP-2148-2 followed them. Dr. cited that he was conducting testing with an unrelated anomaly, and Site Director claimed that to be either doing paperwork or, in one case, communicating with O5-4. Both claims have been corroborated by other personnel, including O5-4, as well as surveillance footage. SCP-2148-2 manifestations ended shortly after an interview between SCP-2148 and Dr. While he was obscured by SCP-2148-2, Dr. exited site shortly after, exiting camera view without incident. When questioned about this, SCP-2148 claimed to have no knowledge of how that could have occurred. A search of its cell revealed one previously unaccounted for photograph affected by the anomalous properties of SCP-2148. SCP-2148 was discovered outside site by Dr. and was the first anomaly associated with the Little Mister series encountered by the Foundation. SCP-2148 is held within a standard humanoid containment chamber within Hall of Site. SCP-2148-1 remains in place at all times. Class C amnestics are administered to SCP-2148 if its anomalous properties manifest.
Is Mr. Lai here yet?
Excuse me?
Just, curious. You know, wondering if I could see my brother again. Well, you know, figuratively speaking. Never actually seen him before. But he said he'd be here right after me. And I've been here for a bit and I haven't seen him yet. Figuratively.
No, he's not here yet. So, there are more Little Misters.
Oh, yeah. 20 in total, counting myself. The numbers don't mean anything, but I was the first Little Mister the Dr. Wondertainment made. Mr. Lai told me that. Then he told me we were collector's items, which made enough sense.
Did you see them often?
Like, literally? I saw them each once. Well, except for Red. Had to see him twice. Kinda makes me wish I didn't have photographic memory, to be perfectly honest.
You said you haven't seen Mr. Lai?
Nope. Yes, I said that. I have not seen him. He told me he was supposed to be last for some reason, I guess. Never really figured out why. But that was really not my place, you know. I was just supposed to follow him around and look at stuff.
And where did the two of you go? What did you look at?
Oh, you know, stuff. Took a lot of trips into government buildings. Or at least that's what everybody else was saying. I guess I wouldn't know, right? Always had Mr. Lai to show me the way though. He had a lot of friends. And he always knew right what to say to get us what we needed to be. Never actually got to see him, though. The doctor gave me this note saying I shouldn't look at Lai yet. But then the note had all these black lines on it. So that was weird.
And do you have any idea where Mr. Lai is currently?
Nope. Should be here soon, though.